beautiful. Welcome to today's conversation where we're going to talk about managing your anger. Let's talk about it. I'm your host, Shannon Martin, and welcome to today's episode of This Thing Called Rose. Again, I hope you had a fun Halloween. I enjoy watching the little ones dress up as their favorite heroes. And it's even more fun when the family joins in. And we did great this year, y'all. We actually gave away all the candy except for a handful. It's so awesome. So we just have a little handful left over. Great for us. So last week, we talked about how family support is a blessing and how their support brings awareness to their mental well-being. We just have to make sure there's a balance and everyone's needs are addressed and cared for at all times. This week, we'll talk about how to manage our anger. I know it's been a little bit of a struggle for me lately. I first thought it was due to menopause or high stress at times. But after talking to my obstetrician, it wasn't due to the pause. It had a little to do with stress. But because it kept happening, and especially my husband noticing, I needed to get this looked at. And he said I was beginning to have an ugly disposition. Me? I know, right? So after talking to my doctor and my therapist, I found out that it was due to my trauma and past experiences. I had pushed down and packed into these little neat packages that I had wrapped up real pretty, a nice bow on top, and pushed it into a closet, nicely neat, put it in the closet, and closed the door. I never thought about them again. But as I was going through my counseling, I was beginning to finally unpack my emotions and trauma that I had honestly forgotten about. What was happening to me was that certain situations and words were triggering me. They were bringing up old emotions I hadn't properly healed from. I hadn't addressed how I had been mistreated, how harshly I had been spoken to, or how I allowed myself to be treated. I was a people pleaser, and if I didn't perform the way they wanted me to, I was talked down to or treated badly. This continued for years, from my childhood until my adult years. I had become so dependent on this type of treatment that I expected it. And as usual, they apologized for it. It was often with a gift or a favor in some way. And later, when I began to heal and unpack, I realized how toxic this behavior was to me. And I had been trained to accept and deal with it for many years. Now those behaviors were beginning to trigger me, and I became enraged for days on end. I go to sleep angry and wake up angry. That wasn't me, and I needed help. For every minute you remain angry, you give up 60 seconds of peace of mind. Anonymous. My doctor eventually prescribed medication for my anger, while I continue to unpack my emotions through therapy, so that I'm not a volcano about to erupt over here, and I'm able to help keep myself calm. But another situation took me over the top again, and I had to sit with it for a while. This time, the trigger was so deep that I was very exhausted from it for a few days. I kept remembering what my first doctor told me. I have to try and maintain my calm. Too much stress and anxiety attacks can cause additional stress on my heart and cause other heart health concerns. I don't worry about it that much, but it's always in the back of my mind, which is why I try hard to stay as balanced as possible one day at a time. But this situation triggered me hard. And I'm proud of myself because I now have the tools to allow myself to feel my emotions, sit with them for a while, and truly ask myself, why am I feeling like this? What is the reason I'm so angry? We're one of the families that's often asked for help, and we don't mind at all if we're blessed to have it. We will give what we can. That's how my husband and I were raised. But this particular day, I wasn't trying to hear it. I was tired of it, fed up, just plain angry. My lava was overflowing, y'all. I mean, I had a full-out eruption. I was disappointed in myself for being that way. So I sat with this feeling for a couple of days. When I talked to my therapist about it, it was a trigger that I had packed down deep that resurfaced through that one act of asking for help. We all need help at times. So what was wrong with me? After I realized it was my past trauma coming from a bad place of lack and need, I slowly started to feel better. My fatigue was still there, but I wasn't so angry with my husband for still having that giving heart. God had provided us with what we needed, and we were in a position to help, and I was happy that we were able to do so. I started to think about me and how I was going to look at this situation and heal from it. So I'm putting a plan and action in it for me, not for anyone else but me. My mother used to say, you got yourself into a situation, you can always get yourself out of it. With God's help, all you need to do is make one step, He will make two. I never forgot that, and that's what I've decided to do. Create my own whatever it is I need and continue to do it for me. The root of anger is the perception that something has been taken and disdained. Creating my own whatever has always been in the back of my mind. I always took care of everyone else, literally. That was another trigger of anger for me. I had others that I put before me. Now, this is not an issue anymore. I had to do a mind shift and put my needs in His eyes first. I'm not waiting on anyone else to tell me that I can dream. I don't have to depend on anyone to rescue me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. My focus had been on everyone else for so long that I hadn't imagined sharing, investing, or doing just things for me. I talk about it and think about it, but old habits truly die hard. After this last episode, I knew it was my wake-up call, telling me, girl, this is the time to shift towards you. It's time to invest in you, to pour into you, love on you, and to be a little more selfish for you. And you know what? It's okay. I'm a work in progress, but this will be my I am mantra for a long time until I see consistent progress in me, loving on me more. I truly believe that's where this anger stemmed from. The feeling of being trapped and not moving forward and feeling happiness for so long was overwhelming, and I was desperately wanting it. Whatever that means for me, I am the controller of my ship, and I decide which direction it will go in with the Lord's guidance. Mindful moment. Learning to control our anger is another one that's going to take a while to process and get a grasp on. We will always have to pause, take a moment to sit with it, ask ourselves why we feel this way, and really understand the emotion or trauma that's attached to it. Work it out within and shift while healing. This past anger outburst made me realize an emotion or feeling of lack I had been holding on to for years. I was so used to being codependent that I forgot I had the power within to bring my own dreams and goals to life. I have done it before. What is so different today? Where did that person go? Where is she? I am in the process of healing and becoming a better, healed version of myself. And I'm loving the journey. But it's a tough one. It has a lot of tears, a lot of prayers, and a lot of doubt some days. But I hold steadfast. I keep moving forward, trying again, knowing that tomorrow is another day to try again, another day to smile, another day to shine, and another day to thank the Lord for bringing me this far. Keep going, beautiful. You are worth it. And remember to smile. If you can smile, you've won half the battle. I hope you've enjoyed this week's conversation. I'm your host, Shannon Martin. Join us next Wednesday when we talk about taming your inner critic. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please share and leave a review on Apple. Hey, our Hello Wellness boxes will be available for pre-order soon. To be in the know, sign up for our email wait list. The link is in the show notes and is located in our social media bio at Shannon D. Wellness. Stay tuned. We have a lot of exciting things in store. Disclaimer: I am not a licensed mental health professional. The information provided here is for general informational purposes only and should not be considered a substitute for professional mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you need help, please consult a qualified mental health professional.